Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin. My forehead is incredibly shiny today. Oh well, whatever. So today I've got something a little different. I know I still owe you a couple of Creator Spotlight videos. They will get done soon. If not this week, absolutely this weekend. I will make Brian give me the time I need to get them done. But one thing I have been doing is working on organizing a lot of stuff in the house. I don't know about you, but I go on these organizational tangents and just sprees, and sometimes when things feel a little out of control, I try to take control by cleaning out a closet or something. So I decided I was going to take a big Rubbermaid pail downstairs and gather from our hall closet, and we have like this, we call it the white thing. It's like a mud room thing. It's got coat hangers and little cubbies for the kids to put their shoes in the bottom, and like on top to put hats and mittens, and we had a whole bunch of like hats and stuff piled on top of it. So I gathered it all and we're sorting through it. We're going to see what we want to keep, what we want to donate, what is just doesn't fit anymore, all that kind of good stuff. But in doing so, I found 3 really old things that I have made, and I wanted to share them with you. So, first of all, last year there was something going around like, show us the oldest yarn you have in your stash. And when I first learned to knit, when I was around 10 years old from my grandmother, she gave me a bunch of her yarn that she wasn't going to use, that she didn't want anymore. And in it was a whole bunch of green and gray. And I found a scarf when I first learned to knit. So this is before I knew I had to put borders on and all of that. But this is the oldest yarn in my stash. This is the oldest yarn I ever had. She had this in her stash for years and years. It was way back. I actually found it in the bottom corner of the closet. So it's got lots of dust and hair on it. But it's like, it's almost got a shimmer to it. This green and this like really dark steel gray. And I just did knit, stockinette stitch. So knit one side, purl the other, in kind of a color work pattern. What? I was getting fancy. What? But I did it. So there's no border, so it's curling pretty badly. This is one thing I will never get rid of. This is mine. Am I going to wear it? No. This yarn is scratchy and stiff as heck. So I've got this scarf, and somewhere in storage I have the very first sweater I drafted myself. I freehanded myself, whatever. The very first knit sweater I made myself. Anything with this yarn would have been knit. I didn't learn to crochet until during the pandemic. So I've only been crocheting now 2 years, 2.5 years, probably 3 years. Yeah, because it would have been 2020, 2021, so 3 years. But oldest yarn in my stash right here. I can't tell you what type it is. She didn't even give it to me with labels, but gosh, this yarn is older than I would like to admit. But here you go. One of the oldest things I have. And then something I'm very proud of. When I first became an adult and had my own adult money to spend on my crafts, I got a subscription to Vogue Knitting, and I loved it. Oh, I loved it. I had it for a couple of years, and then I canceled it because I was like, at the time I was inundated by patterns. I had a very different pattern philosophy back then. I was like, oh my gosh, if I have the pattern, I have to make it. Oh, I didn't have the idea that I can just collect and use it for inspiration, or, you know, sometimes it's just fun to look at pretty pictures. But I didn't have that. I felt like, oh my God, I have to make everything. I have this. I paid for it. Oh my gosh, I have to make it. And I mean, even though you can just read the magazines for the articles, for information, for, you know, inspiration, like I said. Anyway, in there was a mitten and scarf set. So I made this. This is using Red Heart Fleck, or it's Aran Fleck. And here we go. I made, when this Fleck yarn first came out, I was obsessed with it. And I made tons of stuff with it. So this is a kind of simple cabled scarf using the Vogue knitting pattern. And why I wanted to show this, my very first pair of hand knit mittens. So it's made to match. It's got that same cable detail in the Aran Fleck yarn. So this is my very first, you can see I've got the classic first time knitter mistake hole right there. That's okay. But I'm so proud of them. I was so proud when I made them, and seeing them again, having this flashback, this just amazing blast from the past. So exciting. I made those so many years ago. If you need a testament that Red Heart holds up, here you go. Yeah, those gloves are... I'm trying to do math in my head. I'm trying to figure out when I would have made those. Somewhere around 2006. Yeah, I would have made those around the time Brian and I first met. Yeah. So yeah, 2006-ish. 2005, 2006. That's when these were made. I'm excited. I'm proud. I am so happy I found these. Like, you just don't know what's hidden in the recesses of your closets. So this was what was hidden in the recess of one of my closets. Let me know. Do you guys still have some of the oldest stuff you've made? Like, this is literally one of the oldest things I would have made, because, you know, you learn to knit and you just start knitting. A scarf is one of the simplest things. It's just long. So I just went, and I obviously had some sort of pattern idea in mind. It looks like I probably went by row count. What's funny is you can see my stitches are tilted. It's very tilty for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it was my tension. But yeah, I'm so excited. Do you have something like this that you hold on to, that you made years and years ago when you first started learning your craft, or anything? I'm not even going to hazard a guess as to the age of this scarf. I don't know. Like I said, I learned to knit when I was 10, so somewhere around there. You can try to guess the math. I don't care. I mean, it wouldn't have been right away, because my grandma had me making washcloths for a very long time. And then she taught me that slipper pattern, and I spent a long time making those slippers. So it would have been a while before she turned me loose to do something on my own that didn't have a pattern, because she very much was into teaching me how to knit and teaching me how to read a pattern right away. The slippers she taught me orally, but I had a number of, I don't think I have any of the original ones, but Christmas ornaments, bells, and little mini stockings were some of the first patterns she taught me to read. So I would have made those, the slipper, those, because that's where I would have learned increases and decreases, and then she would have sent me off on my own to do things like this. So probably a few years after I learned to knit is when this scarf would have happened. But like I said, do you guys have things like that still, or are you someone who just made it and gave it away, or made it to practice and then would have ripped it out or something like that. I don't know. Those are all definitely valid ways to learn, and especially the ripping out if you don't have access to a lot of materials. Ripping it out, reusing the yarn to try something else to learn a new technique. I totally understand that. Totally feel that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. So kind of a short, weird video. I would love to hear about any of your projects you've been holding on for sentimental reasons. I love it. I love to hear about everything you guys make. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!